after the hour. Face mute if you so desire to not be recorded. All right, we're officially at 3 minutes after the hour. Welcome to the Interledger Community Call. I have been your host over the last, I don't know, a bunch of time for this community call, but as Interledger grows and has more people working on specifically parts of the Interledger project, I thought it was a good time to hand over the duties of this call to Yona, who will now, along still with Vanille and really all of us in the background, planning, organizing, talking, and otherwise delivering this community call. I will be handing over the MC and planning torch. And we will have new facilitative leadership on this call, and also a lot of creativity about how we make this call even better. Vanille and I are immensely proud of this call over these last bit of time, but there are many things we can continue to do to make this call and community time useful, beneficial, and informative to all. And with that, I will stay a member of the meeting, but I will hand over the facilitative leadership. Yona, take it away.
Thanks so much, Chris. And I was just laughing of the karma of this technology-wise, because it feels like I have a bit of delay. So if you also feel it, sorry for that. I'm on a small, in a small village in Greece. Most of the time I'm based in Germany, in Berlin, but I'm visiting family as we speak, so that's why. Don't be jealous, this is just for a few weeks a year. Otherwise, Great Berlin is there, so all good. Chris and Vanille did amazing work with this, so I'm really proud to take it over, and I feel a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. I will be helped also by Tiffany directly, so if you see things coming from Vanille or Tiffany, they are the community team that we have here at Interledger Foundation. Yeah, so we can roll it out. We have a few things on the agenda, and as usual, I would invite you to go over them because it's full of links, full of things that you should consult later on, and will be helpful for you to follow up along the way. And in the first few lines, we have new grantees, and I think that if you are following our social media, you would see some of the articles or nominalizations that we put out there, like My Wallet Guru and Kimoni, and here to support. More on that, again, follow the blog post that we have out. I'm not sure if Julia or Lavila are around to add more things. I think it's more like a read-only update, but if you are around and you want to add more details, feel free to do so. Continuing with some of the opportunities that are still open, you can see in the agenda the links for them because they will require a bit more in-depth consultation. We have at Interledger Foundation the Financial Services Grant. It's still up, still alive, still able to access it. And one of the second ones that are still open for everyone to apply is the Ambassador Grant. Here we have many of the ambassadors joining our community calls or still sticking around to do amazing work with us. Again, big thank you to them. It really shows how much they are involved in this ecosystem and how much their work means to us to continue collaborating with them. And in the notes, you will see link for the application. And if you have any questions related to this, at no point hesitate to reach out for more things. Yeah, going for a bigger grant that addresses educational side of things is the Next Generation Higher Education Grant. Again, have the link in the agenda notes. And one of the most fun, I think, I would say, is the Interledger Summit, where you can now grab your tickets and join us in Cape Town in October. I would mention that before the summit, a week ahead, is the hackathon. So if you want to join us maybe for that, you will see a lot of details at interledger.org/summit. The page will include all events that we want to take part or organize that week in Cape Town. Let me know, let me check a bit the chat if something is related to what I said. If not, I'll continue with this. I have a slight delay and it's in tech. This is like, this is when you're spoiled with good internet all over the places. Yes, it is a lot going on, and it's good to have them open, and I'm happy to see more people joining us. Okay, yeah, by the way, joining, there is a roll call at the beginning of the page. Please add yourself or add others if you see them around. One of the most important things that we put out this week, it's a well expected blog or the explanation of everything in the Interledger universe. And our colleague Sabine, engineer manager here at Interledger Foundation, wrote up an amazing piece. Go along. We also will share it soon on social media for everyone to be more discoverable. And she tackles all the terminology that you hear a lot going on. What's a payment stream? What's a protocol? Why we have Rafiki? What it is? What monetization extension? Why we need all these things? So she prepared an amazing article about it with lots of designs and really cute one, I would say. Like, great job there, Sabine, making it both informative and nice to go along with it. It is linked in the meeting notes, and as mentioned, soon we'll promote it more on socials. If you want to say more about it, or if you want to share more links in the chat, please do so. And going in upcoming events where you can find Interledger Foundation members, volunteers, or employees, we will be this September in London for State of the Browser Conference. And by the end of it, I think you will meet us in New York too at Smashing Conf. This month we do have an event, but it's in Cluj-Napoca, Romania, a work with Rafiki team. For sure, we will put out more information about that as we approach it, and of course afterwards. And now I realize that maybe a good article to link in the meeting notes later would be the, I wouldn't say report because it sounds so serious, but the article/blog that I wrote on community.interledger.org about the web monetization work that we had in Ljubljana earlier in July. I'll try to link it at the end, or for sure in the chat later in a bit. We will go over some updates that we have. Another great post with updates are from Rafiki's sites. Find it in the meeting notes. Written by Sabine and the team. Big thank you there for all the work on content done. And as for web monetization updates, the blog post with this month's updates is in draft, as I know. We just reviewed it today, so will be out publicly later in a bit, and we'll share it to the community Slack for sure too afterwards. We had another piece of content written by Nathan at the beginning of the month, in which he explained the open payments. I love that he tackled it as a Cinderella story of finding the fitting authorization method. I do challenge you to go and read it out and see if it's really the Cinderella story and we found the fitting authentication method, or if you think that we should still go around and search for it, let us know. And the most expected moment, someone to change my voice a bit, I will hand it out to Adrian for Fynbos updates.
Hey, short update from us, but one quite important one. So we are done with our production rollout of our Canadian integration, thanks to the folks at G-Money for the help with that. So Erica, I think, might be our first customer in Canada. I saw she started testing for us earlier today. So yeah, anyone based in Canada, feel free to sign up for a wallet. You can fund it with Interac. You can transact with Erica or anyone else in Canada. And we are already in the process of trying to integrate G-Money with our partner in the US, so that there'd be cross-border working between them. But we're also deep in the weeds now of a kind of peering project between the US and the EU, where we've partnered up with GateHub. So that's been about a month also work so far back and forth trying to iron out exactly what the agreement needs to look like. The stuff that's holding up that whole project is not technical. It's mostly around data sharing agreements and compliance and mutual due diligence and those kinds of things, and figuring out exactly who's allowed to do what in what's effectively a tripartite agreement. So somebody asked me today how long I think it's going to take. I wish I could say I know. We're doing it as quickly as we can. So yeah, we continue working on that, and hopefully yeah, we'll get something in place in the next few weeks, and then there's a bunch of technical work that needs to be done to enable that. But quite exciting, because if we get that wrapped up, that forms the basis of peering arrangements between our other partners, so South Africa, Canada, and then potentially others in the future. So that's it from our side. Not much else to report, but we'll keep you informed on the peering as we go. And please, if anyone is in Canada and is able to test out the integration there, let us know how it goes. Feel free to contact me directly if you have any issues, or if you have any questions.
Would this be good? And sorry if you already posted. Would this be good as an announcement in the community too, for more people to help out with testing, or
Yeah,
even make it
would love that. For sure. It was kind of soft launched late last week, and we were trying to do a bit of internal testing, but somebody put me on the spot earlier to ask if it was ready, and our engineers said, yeah, it's ready. Let's get some real users in there. So yeah, happy for you to share this publicly, and let's get some people on there using it and testing it, and hopefully not breaking it, but if they break it, then helps us figure out what needs to be updated and fixed.
I mean, maybe better to break it at the beginning between ourselves than
that's the idea. Yeah, and things we want people to test are you know, making sure like web monetization works. Make sure you can just do you know, funds in, funds out, send money to someone else who's also got a Canadian dollar wallet, those kinds of things.
Great. And I love these advices for what to test or what to focus around. Of course, all the time exploratory is welcome, and especially different and diverse users, but also to keep in mind the happy flows or the really important flows that need to be checked. I see Tilly has a raised hand. Yes, go along.
Thank you. So Adrian, I think maybe you said it, and I'm just going to ask you to repeat it. So right now I can get a Fynbos wallet if I'm in South Africa, if I'm in Canada, and if I'm in South Africa, I can send money within South Africa to any other Fynbos wallet. Same thing in Canada to another wallet over there. The US yet?
Yeah, US you can sign up, but it's also limited to just the US. So we've got 4 territories live now. We've got Canada, US, EU, and South Africa. All of those are unfortunately isolated to their own country. So if you sign up in one country, you'll only be able to transact with other people in that country. And that's, like I say, you know, just pending getting agreements in place between the parties we work with, because they're the licensed entities. They have to be happy with each other. It has nothing, we can't vouch for our partner in America to our partner in the EU, because we're not the one who's licensed. We're not the one who like actually onboards the user and does the due diligence. Although we use tools and we try and help them, they're the ones legally obligated to do that work. So to give a very quick example, which I think might help people, you know, we have an API that we call at Fynt, our US partner, which moves money from one user to the other. So when you're on our wallet and you want to send a payment to a payment pointer, and that payment pointer is also a user at Fynt, we send an API call and we say, you know, transfer whatever it is, $1 from Alice to Bob, and they do that, and it's fine, all really straightforward. But what we want to be able to do is say, okay, transfer $1 from Alice into an account that's run by Fynbos. That's like our account, because we're going to transfer money out of our account at Paywiser or GateHub to Bob, who isn't a customer of Paywiser. So straight away, that means Fiant needs to know, okay, wait a minute, who's Bob because I didn't onboard them, and who's Paywiser because they did onboard them. So we solve all of that by making sure Paywiser and Fiant know each other ahead of time, and they have things like data sharing agreements, so that if Fiant says, well, I need a sanction screen, Bob, I get that you've verified his identity, and I'm happy that your process for doing that is solid, so I'm not going to do a whole due diligence and verify his identity, but I want a sanction screen him, so send me his name and his date of birth. There needs to be a data sharing agreement that, you know, Paywiser, who's in Europe, isn't going to suddenly fall afoul of GDPR because they're sending data across to the US, and the same works the other way around. So the technical stuff, I think Rafiki solves for us. Like, it's all already, we all know that already mostly works. I mean, it's not well tested yet because we haven't got a production implementation to test it against, but the legal stuff is the stuff that's like proving to be challenging, and mostly because where this happens in the real world today, it's mostly only between banks, and it's quite a, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's quite a closed little society or ecosystem. You know, banks, when they're dealing with other banks in other countries, are much friendlier with each other than like two fintechs. Even if they're both licensed, they are both have partner banks in their country that they have to go and ask permission. Like, hey, I want to use this account to like handle incoming remittance payouts. Are you okay with that, and stuff like that? So yeah, so the process is ongoing, but just to give a kind of a flavor of what has to happen under the hood, and why this is all like quite difficult. It's all quite new. So like, fingers crossed, if we can get it right once, we can take that agreement as a template and we can say, okay, cool, now between Chi Money and Fiant, or Fiant and Zargo, between any partners, we've already got a template agreement. If you're both happy with that, like, sign the agreement, do your due diligence on each other, and we like get straight into the technical stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian.
Any other questions here? I love the discussions and the sharings in the chat too, so keep an eye on there too.
Yeah, and just referencing what CD said there, like, GDPR is the European data privacy laws, but there's similar laws all over the world. Like, in South Africa, we have POPI. In the US, it's sort of at a state level. Canada has quite stringent privacy law. I mean, California, should I say, has quite stringent privacy laws that are sort of similar to GDPR. I know Brazil has, you know, strict laws. So each time we have one of these peering agreements, the data sharing agreement has to, you know, adhere to whatever the local like data privacy laws are.
Indeed.
Cool.
Any other questions or suggestions?
I unfortunately have to drop off on a half hour. So if there are any other questions later than that, like I said in the chat, I'm on email or on Slack, please.
Yeah,
Get hold
thanks so much. Yes, and also, yeah, if you miss or don't remember the details, add the questions in the notes, and we will go over them and communicate with Adrian. But that's the last resort, and we will be Adrian to have that post on the community Slack, or maybe even on the forum, with how people can test this, how to make it worth their time and yours. Thanks so much for sharing. I went a bit fast at the beginning, you know. Everyone still gets emotional when they start a new role, I guess. And I was thinking to ask and give the floor for 2-3 minutes if the updates that I read wanted to be accompanied by more details. And maybe here, for example, we would benefit a bit more about those details in relation with the grants. And as we still have Chris on the call, hopefully he didn't drop after seeing me rambling at the beginning. Maybe he would like to add some details there, or
Sure.
still on the.
I'm happy to. Yeah, I mean, I think most of it is in the links, as you mentioned. I will say that the one thing I would put an emphasis on is that both the call for proposals for Interledger ambassadors and the call for proposals for the digital financial services will both close. I think one closes on August 30th and one closes on August 31st. I can't remember which is which. But if you are planning on applying or talking to other folks about applying or working on applications, just a reminder that those do have deadlines, and they are coming up here in a couple weeks. So we are kind of towards the end of that open part of the open call. And I don't think we've had a call since we talked about that we announced this, but we also have extended the letter of intent for our education grant making. That's now just kind of always open, so that's always available. We had a deadline on it before, and that didn't work out great, if I'm honest, in terms of having it. Not something that needs a deadline. So if you were interested in that or have others, that will stay open through the rest of the year. Doesn't mean that we will make a decision on this year if it comes in past a certain date, but that will remain open. So that is also there. And again, that's just a pretty simple letter of what your plans are, and then we review that and either invite an application from there or politely decline. But I think that's the big thing I'd highlight, that we have the coming deadlines on those two grants.
Yes, deadlines are important, especially because I feel everyone literally waits till the last second to be sure, like, yeah, I want to propose, which I'm not saying is bad. I'm happy if people still propose stuff. So take your time or apply as soon as you can and want. Thanks so much, Chris, for adding the deadline details. I'm thinking now to give a second or two, maybe Laville, Julia, or Chiara want to add more details about the links and the deadlines for the other events that we mentioned in the notes till now. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, so slightly leaving a bit of space for them if they want to join and share.
I will just say that the call for proposals for the summit is closed, but we got amazing applications, and we should be having more information about that out in the coming weeks. I'm sure you'll be seeing lots of our summit designs. We're really excited just about the event in general. So if anyone has any questions, definitely Slack us, but stay up to date on our social media and our newsletter, and you should be good to go.
Thanks, Chiara. Yes, the closing deadline for this summit proposals marked a big milestone there, because now we have to work on those and choose from a diverse pool, which I'm really happy that we have, and choose the best program for the summit. I'm definitely excited for it. Thinking around if anything else, but if not, we can move on. Because another thing that I'm definitely excited this time is to learn more about one of the big projects that we have. And you might have heard, or even last year at the summit, attend some of the presentation that they have with us or see their work mentioned in several updates from our side. And our deeper look this month for the community call is about the integrated open payments into the JoPACC banking system. And as I am not involved there that much, I invite here Benny and Syed to take the lead and walk us through the process done there.
Okay, hi everyone. Hope you can see and hear me properly. Yep. So I'm Benny, and I'm part of the Breakpoint team, and I've been working along with Tima and Dragos and the JoPACC people to integrate Rafiki and open payments into the JoPACC payment system. So today I will start off with a short live demo so that you can actually get the feel of what we've been working on. Just a second for me to share my screen. Let me know if it works, if you're seeing anything. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So we are currently looking at the dashboard that Said built for us. And it represents basically a financial institution. So you can think of it as, let's think of it as a bank that's acting in Jordan, right? And it says here that we should start by checking the dashboard. So that's what we're doing. We will look at the accounts. And here we have an alias for Said. If we look at his details, we can see some of his details, like the fact that his currency is Jordanian dinars. We'll actually look at his balance. And we can see that Said has a lot of money. So the natural thing to do is go spend it on some e-commerce. And for that matter, we're going to use our beloved and colorful Interledger Boutique, which I remind everyone that is an e-commerce platform that is open payments enabled. So this means that it is able to communicate and mandate payments through a Rafiki instance that's also open payments enabled, obviously. And we have such an Rafiki instance up on the JoPACC system. So today we're going to be Said, and since we're doing a demo, we're either going to buy some luck or some patience. I'm going to go for luck, and hopefully this means that it's going to work on the first attempt. I'm looking at the shopping cart, and now on the checkout, I should be able to select the payment method as open payments. In here, I will fill in my wallet address, and I'm going to describe a bit what will happen after we hit pay. So we will be able to see the payment here in the dashboard, and we are going to receive an OTP challenge. This is a code like what you would receive on your phone or on a text message for just some code to put in as a user confirmation. But we are getting that as of now on the dashboard. So when I hit pay, we're going to see the confirmation required. It also mentions the amount, and right now I'm searching for the OTP challenge, and it's 284713. Confirming. And this just means that the payment was actually done. We have verified the OTP challenge through the JoPACC API system, and we also initiated the payment and got the response back that it is technically accepted. So since I didn't yet refresh the dashboard, we can actually see here what I was looking at. So when the OTP was issued, I was seeing the status as pending. It's a one-time payment, but the OTP is not yet verified. Right? So we have no blocked payments, no paid payments, nothing as of yet, but we can also see the amount that we were confirming for. So now if I am to refresh and see the status now, after we actually did the payment, it says verified and released. We also now have something under blocked payments and something under paid payments, and this just basically confirms from the financial institution side that the payment processing went well. And I think that's about it on the demo side. I will now hand it over to Said because he has a presentation on the JoPACC APIs that shows us a bit of what we had to do to integrate and what's going on under the hood. So, Said, if you're here.
Yeah, thank you, Benny. Thank you for the lovely demo. Hello, everyone. If I may, I can share now my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and good evening or good morning, wherever you are. It's a pleasure to be here today at the Interledger Foundation community meeting. My name is Said Korkash, and I'm representing JoPACC. JoPACC is the Jordan Payments and Clearing Company. I'm also joined by Abdullah Twegat, our head of development here at JoPACC. Just a little brief what JoPACC is. JoPACC is a private shareholding company owned by the Central Bank of Jordan and the commercial banks in Jordan also combined together. Our organization is dedicated to driving innovation and efficiency in payment systems across Jordan, ensuring secure, accessible, and interoperable financial solutions for everyone. And today I'm excited to share with you the journey of our recent collaboration with the Interledger Foundation. We've been working closely on a proof of concept that I believe holds significant potential for advancing the way payments and settlements are conducted here in Jordan. And we have used our instant payment service, which is Click, to present this demo as Benny did. So before I talk a little bit about the project, one of our key initiatives in JoPACC is the Jordan Open Finance Standards, through which we are working to create an open and inclusive financial ecosystem in Jordan. We establish and standardize the APIs and protocols, and we aim to foster collaboration and innovation across the financial sector, ultimately improving access to financial service for all Jordanians. So about the project, it was leveraging the Jordan Open Finance Standards or Jordan Open Banking APIs with the Rafiki solution by creating a Rafiki middleware that communicates with JoPACC through a gateway, and it will utilize the Jordan Open Finance Standard APIs with some enhancement that we did only for this project. We have a lot of APIs, but the ones that we used here are the Resolve, the payment plan APIs, and also the payments. I will discuss each one. We will dig deep through it. The Resolve API, we'll start with it. It's a crucial component in our financial infrastructure. It is designed to streamline the process of identifying and resolving transaction details. By using the Resolve API, we can verify the account information and ensuring that the payments are directed to the correct recipient with minimal friction. And it is about finding whoever account belongs to for the alias that is requested or their address. As you can see here with the flow, the Resolve API will be triggered when the e-commerce platform will provide the customer's wallet address to Rafiki. Rafiki here has two situations. Either if it was already resolved, it will be pre-saved on the Rafiki system, and if not, for this case, the Rafiki will notify the Rafiki middleware that we created, or from your part, from the Interledger part created, to resolve the address by sending a request to JoPACC API gateway with the resolve details about the customer using the alias and the proxy service. JoPACC, on the other hand, will check the pointer in the request and decide to which financial institution this alias belongs to, and it will forward the request to the financial institution. The FI, on the other hand, will resolve the alias and send it back to Rafiki middleware through JoPACC APIs. And the data contains the wallet address response along with some additional information. And this data, or the required data, will be saved on Rafiki by the middleware. And now we've reached to the payment plan APIs, or we can call it the one-time password APIs. These are considered as the authorization APIs. They will be granting access to the platform by requesting an OTP and verifying it. As for now, we have three main payment plan types. The first one is a single payment plan. This payment plan, as we did in the demo, as Benny did in the demo, it has only one block with one payment. So you block a certain amount of money and you pay this amount only. The recurring payment plan, which we can consider as the subscribe, has multiple blocks with multiple payments. And there's also the web monetization plan, which has one block with multiple payments. I just have to mention that upon verifying the OTP, an automatic block will happen and it will occur within a specific amount depending on the plan details that was initially requested. For the create plan API, we can call it also the creating of the OTP. The journey will start by the customer when he is trying to check out on the e-commerce store. The e-commerce store will request a grant on behalf of the customer to Rafiki. Rafiki will redirect the request to the identity provider, where it will check the details of the request, the creditor details, and it will initiate the OTP request to Rafiki middleware. Rafiki middleware will handle all the information and send a request to JoPACC API gateway, which will forward it to the correct API to the assigned one, the assigned financial institution. The FI will register the request. It will respond back to Rafiki middleware with the payment plan that was registered, and simultaneously it will also send the OTP challenge back to the customer so he can verify the payment. As for the verify OTP, when the customer receives the OTP, he will submit the OTP code from the FI on the identity provider page, the one that Benny showed us. The IDP will send the verify OTP challenge on Rafiki middleware, and Rafiki middleware will send the verification details to JoPACC API gateway on the OTP service using the payment plan ID that was received. The API gateway will forward it to the correct financial institution, and then, as always, it will respond back if it's successful, of course. If the challenge was correct, the FI will block a payment automatically and respond to the request with the verification details and the block ID referring to the blocked payment. The API gateway in JoPACC side will forward it to Rafiki middleware, and Rafiki middleware will make the request to accept the grant to Rafiki. The middleware will also forward the response to the identity provider, where the identity provider will notify Rafiki that the interaction is finished. And when the interaction is finished, Rafiki will redirect the customer back to the e-commerce store. As for the payment APIs, we have three main services. Each one of these actions or service has specific requirements according to the scenario that it's depending on which payment plan it's associated with. We have a block, initiate, and release payment plan. We'll start by the block API. The block API, as we mentioned before, it happens automatically upon verifying the OTP. And in our situation here, it will only be used when the payment plan type is recurring. For example, if we have a subscription on any service and you want to block a certain amount of money each month, you can use this API. The block payment will be requested after a payment plan is created and verified, as we said. The e-commerce will create a payment request to Rafiki with a new block when a new block is requested. And Rafiki will notify the middleware about the request. It will also be forwarded to JoPACC API gateway, which will get the request or send the request or forward it to the financial institution. The FI will block the certain amount of money and will return a response back to the middleware through the JoPACC gateway. The Rafiki middleware will have the details for the block and save it. Initiating a payment. The payment, when the payment is completed, once the payment is completed in Rafiki, it will notify the Rafiki middleware about the completion, and the middleware will send the request to JoPACC API gateway and requesting to initiate the payment. The gateway will forward it back to the financial institution, and the FI will process it. And if everything works out, it will send a response back to the middleware through the gateway. But at this point, the payment was not completed, or let's say it is not settled. It will respond only with a technical accepted message and along with the message ID referring to the payment request. And after the completion of the payment request, JoPACC will send the webhook to Rafiki middleware mentioning that the payment is now complete. For the release API, the customer has two ways of releasing a payment. he can either release it through the e-commerce or through the FI directly. As for the e-commerce way, the customer will request a release payment or unsubscribe to the e-commerce. The e-commerce will ask Rafiki to release the plan. Rafiki will notify the middleware about the request, and the middleware will send the request to the gateway, JoPACC gateway, and JoPACC will forward it to the FI. The FI will do what it has to be done. And if all the boxes check, the FI will send a response back to Rafiki middleware mentioning the result of this request. Also, the customer can release a payment directly through the financial institution, and the FI will then notify JoPACC about this released request, and the JoPACC gateway will notify Rafiki middleware about this release along with the payment plan ID, so it can start the whole process. And that's it from our side. For future development, the development on the recurring payment and web monetization scenarios is complete from JoPACC side, and we are still and I believe that the team on the Ledger side are still developing these two scenarios, let's say. And the focus will be on finalizing these implementations. And we recognize the need for a dedicated test environment deployment to ensure thorough testing and smooth integration for future. And that's it. This concludes our presentation for today. Thank you for your time and attention. And please, if you have any feedback or if you have any questions, feel free. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Syed, and thanks, Benny. Syed, I'm not sure if you got a chance while you're presenting to see the chat was like on fire with everyone complimenting the slides, everyone requiring them or asking for them. Songbird already said that send it our way. I see a bit of pressure put there on Eugene that she already has them, but yeah, we will try to make them available in a either in this way or maybe in a blog. This is the live today for today blogs, and because I really love also the designs that they were created. Again, I think they were very useful to explain and detail the transaction types. There were a few questions. I think Stephanie already had one, and Abdallah already replied to it. And going now, I think Sabine was asking what was missing from our recurring payments.
What do you mean by missing?
I can just, jump in.
Yeah.
So you said in the end that on your side, recurring payments were already done, but there was something missing on, I guess, our side. So I was just wondering what was missing.
No,
I guess that's just a question to Benny rather than you, Said.
The flow of the recurring payment is done from our side, which is the backend side, let's say, for a financial institution to receive a payment plan with a recurring payment. I believe Benny here maybe can answer.
I will have a really short answer, which is time, because there's not.
Yeah.
And what is really different? Is it just like this, like making sure that the recurring payment actually happens at certain points in time, or like what's because the grant request and like the open payments grant request should be the same, right?
Yeah, it's linking the payments themselves with the grant. So the Rafiki middleware needs to do grant management, and there's also the part that wasn't yet written in Rafiki middleware about the differentiation of different payment plans that JoPACC is already, as Said mentioned, developed, but those are different. And for the demo, we just went for one for the demo, and the MVP we went for the one-time payment. But these are already in work, I believe. Dragos already started on them, on recurring and web monetization.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie, do you want to address the question, or should I go ahead?
Is it the question about the compliance?
Yes, I was about to say that we literally mentioned earlier that each individual countries or organization of countries have this. And I guess the question comes to the Jordanian data protection law, which I'm not familiar with.
Yes, I believe it's all within the compliance with the new Jordanian data protection law, because we are already operated by the, let's say operated, we are owned by the Central Bank of Jordan. So any law that will be, let's say, would be submitted, we have to go with it. Yeah.
When we build something, we build with the laws in
Yeah,
place.
of course. Yes, exactly.
Okay, any other questions? If not, big thank you for the presentation. It was really insightful.
Thank you.
Lots of virtual and visible clapping there. Celebrations. Well, we move to community shareouts and discussions. I don't see anyone adding any demos or updates or milestone in the notes. Anyone wants to mention them vocally? This is part again of the community shareouts. Going once, going twice. Maybe next time, if you want to present, add yourself ahead of time, and more than happy to give you the mic. We are moving towards the end of the call, so I'm going to bring out to you a few reminders. We have a lot of things going on at the Interledger Foundation, as you can see, both from the text perspective, on the community perspective, events coming up. So we started being a bit more diligent on sending out the newsletter. I think those that are already in our mailing list got the latest one yesterday or the day before. So if you want to keep up with everything that was announced, it's coming up. Read more about the stories that we mentioned so much around here. Again, both technical and community. Please do sign up for the Interledger newsletter. You can find it on the interledger.org page at the bottom. It's a text field there where you can add your mailing list. And we promise we behave nicely. You know us. So we're not going to send you too much information, too much spam. Once in a while, good information there. And also feel free to share feedback about it. Literally send the reply or send us a note there. Hey, Joanna, or hey, Kara, I think this was too much. This was too little explained. More than happy to take that feedback into account. This is how we grow. If you have questions or need help, send us a question or a line on Slack. You have a link in the notes too to join. And there are a lot of opportunities for those who want to contribute as open source to our projects, as all of them are on GitHub, and you can easily go and check what's opened. We will, just like, sneak peek ahead of time, we will add tags coming soon for easy issues to start with, especially as we are approaching Hacktoberfest. I know that also comes for some people with bad connotation, that some will say that Hacktoberfest will add too much noise into the repos. We will try to make it work for everybody. We'll tag the issues and come back. But this, next time, we give you more details. But stay tuned. If you want to be informed of everything that is pushed to the repositories, there a star for them, like on social media, like in Twitter, in GitHub is like, give us a star. And we do have a link with the application grant for Interledger Foundation, application guide for the Interledger Foundation grants. Again, if you have questions, I think you can reach out to any of us. I'm more than happy to either answer it or to point to the next person that knows best the answer. Last thing ahead, as I mentioned, we only improve ourselves by learning about your feedback. So we have a form for this call. It is at the end of the notes. My colleagues for sure can add it to here, and let us know how it went too. Sorry for being, a bit shaky with the internet. You're gonna improve next time for sure. It took me a while to understand that today is not the day for the tech, but more than happy to take over this call and hopefully make it more and more better and addressing more things. Anything to close, or we call it a day? Once, twice. Thank you so much to everyone joining. Thank you so much, Saed, Ben, for the presentation. Benny, And see you in a bit. Stay tuned on our Slack. And if anything, ping us. Have a great day, everyone.